Welcome everybody to What's NXT for May 22nd, 2019. I am your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the gentleman, the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good morning, wrestling fans.
Support, no DQ.
NXT tonight was kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
And by that, we had 5 in-ring segments, but 2 of those were just promos-ish, kind of. Exchanges, little fisticuffs, but not matches. We had 3 matches, 2 men's matches and a women's match. One of the men's matches was a tag team match. That gets billed during the show for the main event. I never understood this. Why would you go into taping a show not having a main event that is the final match of the show booked already?
Yeah.
Like, how does something get booked during the 1-hour show and slotted into the most prestigious spot on the card?
Because Triple H is the man. Seriously, he made us care about this match in less than 30 minutes.
He said, look, I don't need to have them. I'll just find some guys during the show that are already there, and I'll get something in. I'll pencil something in there, but
well,
no.
The first segment of the night, after the video package that we see right at the beginning, sets up for everything else.
Okay, so we've got a video recap of the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits from last week, where the Street Profits come out and challenge the Viking Raiders since they were going to turn over the titles anyway. Give us a shot at them. We know we can beat you. Turns out they couldn't, and neither could any of the rest of the NXT tag team roster.
No contest.
Everybody came out trying to beat on everybody, and the War Raiders laid out fucking all of them.
Yeah.
And then they stood
Then
in
they
the
laid
ring,
on the belts.
laid the belts down, and they took a bow. Now, they cut off the video footage or the video package right before the bow. So we didn't get to see that. And so you're like, well, are they going to follow through with whether or not these guys are leaving and turning over the titles? Turns out,
yes.
Immediately we get Regal. He's in his office. He announces that yes, the titles have been vacated. And he is making a 4-way ladder match for NXT TakeOver 25. We are going to have the Street Profits. That is Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford off the top of my head.
Yep.
Forgotten Sons. That's Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake with Jackson Riker on their side. This is a ladder match. I expect Jackson Riker to fucking get involved.
Yeah.
We're going to have Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. And then we're going to have Undisputed's, Dragons?
Red Dragon.
Red Dragons. We've got O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. That's going to be a hell of a fucking match.
Oh, yeah.
We actually get several NXT TakeOver announcements this week. I think we got 2 or 3 on just this show.
Yeah.
I think last week we got the announcement of Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. And that ends up being our first official segment of the night because Undisputed come out. All 4 of them come to the ring for a promo. And basically Adam Cole says they are stronger than ever. They are more on the same page than ever. And pretty soon they're all going to be draped in gold because at this next NXT TakeOver, 3 of the 4 of them have shots at championships.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to follow through and get all of those. And, of course, he ends up talking about Johnny Gargano because his championship match at TakeOver is against Johnny Gargano, which, of course, brings out Johnny Gargano, who starts to do math for us.
Yes.
Very slowly for Adam Cole.
Shocks the school system, as he says.
Now, here's the thing. I get both arguments. Adam Cole says, remember, I pinned you already. And Johnny Gargano's like, well, if you remember, it was 2 out of 3 falls, and I won 2 falls to your 1, and technically won the match. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, but Adam Cole pinned you, and it was the first fall.
Yeah.
So let's say there was a repeat of that match. In the next match, Adam Cole wins by a pinfall on the first fall, which happens to be the only fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand Cole's argument. It kind of makes Johnny Gargano look like a bit of a douche.
Yeah.
But really what Johnny Gargano is here is bait.
Yeah.
He is attention bait. He is getting the attention of all 4 of them in the ring, which gives Matt Riddle a chance to come out from the crowd, which I knew he was coming because I heard a ruckus in the crowd.
Yeah, there definitely was a scuffle.
Because the Undisputed Era's in the ring, and Johnny Gargano didn't just say anything particularly funny, and the crowd starts cheering. I'm like, yeah, somebody's coming, and it's bound to be Matt Riddle. Sure enough.
Still no shoes.
Who goes straight beeline for Roderick Strong.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to break him off of there, but then Johnny Gargano runs down to make the save, and it's a 4-on-2, and
they still throw them back.
Yeah, I mean they're baby faces, and
yeah.
this is just where it's at right now.
So all four Undisputed Era are out on the outside of the ring. Gargano and Riddle are left in the ring, and sure enough, that's when the referees come out to break everything up.
A herd of referee come out to try and break them apart, but
by the time they'd already broken up.
My guess at this point was that we were going to see a tag team match with Matt Riddle and Gargano versus Cole and Roderick Strong, and of course that's not going to happen. That gives you too much of what you want to see come NXT TakeOver.
Mm-hmm.
What we end up getting is a slightly different version, but we will move on to that. Do you have any other notes on this? Because it kind of dragged a little bit for a promo.
Yeah.
With all of these, but once the fight broke out, it all made sense.
Oh yeah, it made plenty of sense after that, and the match we end up getting actually makes a little more sense to me because that way you had the setup that if there was going to be any form of attack, you'd have the two main protagonists of the Undisputed Era, or antagonists, attacking at the end of the match, and it kind of, like, I already saw it kind of coming, maybe like after the match or causing a disqualification, one or the other, but at the same time, like, the whole segment was just great, I thought. It pretty much had Cole doing what he does best, which is, talking. And then Gargano doing what he thinks he does best, which is, talking. And it already set up for an interesting dynamic for a match. And I'm glad we actually got it. So this feud, this story, will bookend the show. Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Without it being something too corny, like where it's people that aren't feuding, but like somebody will come out, and then somebody else will come out, and then somebody else will come out, and then Teddy Long will come out, and it'll be a 3-on-2 handy. I don't know, I really hate it when people have nothing to do with each other, and then suddenly they're in a match like this.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Riff would agree with me there. That's one of those things. I gave him 3 wishes.
Mm-hmm.
From what things he could change in WWE. He's like, I'd get the fuck rid of that.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. It's outdated because it's so cliche. Anyway, to go ahead and spoil this, what we're talking about here is the main event of Matt Riddle and Johnny Gargano versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
And this also sets up for Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish to actually show a little bit more that they're ready for their four corners ladder match at TakeOver. So that gives them something to do as well.
But before we get that announcement, we have our first match of the night, and it's Sean Maluta, who I didn't recognize. I've probably seen him wrestle before. They said he wrestled Dijakovic. They said he wrestled Jackson Riker, and I'm like, I don't remember him wrestling either one of them. But whatever. So I'm like, who's he jobbing to? But then it's Mansoor, who himself we've seen job twice in the last, 2 or 3 weeks.
But he's been impressive as a face and a heel.
Sort of impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I'll grant you that, sort of. In this case, it's an okay opening match.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God the segment with the Undisputed Era and Gargano and Riddle opened the show.
Oh, yeah.
Because it wasn't that great of a match. But I've got a few notes. What did you think about the match, Jerry?
I didn't know really what to expect because, like you said, we pretty much have 2 jobbers in a ring. And Maluta, I never heard of. So I'm like, are they going to actually give Mansoor a win? Because I'm okay with that too. He's been jobbing like crazy. But the matches that we have seen him in, he's been impressive in. Like even the one that was in Brooklyn, I think, for NXT UK.
Yeah.
And that was a great match, I thought. And he came out as a heel, and it was cool. But with this match, he didn't really do anything out of the ordinary, but he's fine-tuning what he actually can do in the ring, and it looks good. I think it looks great. Maluta, kind of forgettable. Maybe it's the fact that I've seen so many freaking Samoans in the ring lately that's, like, absurd. But Mansoor's just kind of a breath of fresh air for me, because I don't really know what to make of him. He could be a tweener and be okay, or just one of those guys you either like or you just hate, and he pulls it off in the ring, so I'm happy with him.
Either way, he plays a babyface on NXT, but he's a heel on NXT UK.
Well, I think it's the fact there's an NXT UK broadcast, he was kind of more or less invading it. So
yeah, but he definitely has two personas, one babyface and one heel, and he has turned that switch in between those shows, and it's weird to see. Because usually they are pretty good with continuity when it comes to good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
At least in NXT they are. I've got some offense from Maluta that was okay. Of course he gets the Samoan drop in because, hey folks, he's Samoan. And he follows that with a haluva kick into the corner, which it was a real casual looking haluva kick.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It wasn't a haluva kick. It wasn't a hell of a kick.
Well, it was the same move for it, but it was a sort of a kick. And then he comes off the middle rope with a code breaker that really actually looked badass.
That looked great.
That was an awesome fucking ticket to ride off the middle rope.
Yeah.
He got a near fall though. And then Mansoor, they have some more back and forth. Mansoor gets a snap German suplex, and then slingshots, I think from the apron into a neck breaker.
Really crisp looking.
And then picks him up and does what I would call an inverted drift away. So he picks him up off of an inverted DDT, or a reverse DDT, but picks him up and then spins him for almost, it would be a swinging neck breaker if he was facing the other way, but it ends up being a swinging cutter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how else to describe it. I think it's really cool looking. I recommend checking out Mansoor's finishing move.
I was going to say, if Daivari hadn't used it, like the name already, I would have called it the Magic Carpet Ride.
Sure, why not?
It's a cool name.
After this, we get the announcement. Kathy Kelly is outside of Regal's office, and she's telling us that currently Undisputed Era is in there, and you can hear him arguing with Regal. Regal is telling him to get the fuck out.
More or less.
Basically.
Bugger off.
And they leave and pay no mind or mention to Kathy Kelly. They're just out. And then she gently raps on Regal's door.
You actually hear, like, Adam Cole say, it's like, Fish and O'Reilly will take care of him tonight. It's whatever.
Well, Regal comes to the door looking like, I don't know, dude. He looks like he just got done wiping spit off his face. Like they all spit on him.
Like, probably did. Adam Cole probably got in his face, was yelling at him. And
I want to say it looks like they slapped him around a little bit, but he's the GM. I don't think they did that, but certainly I could see him all spitting on him.
Yeah.
He's just like...
Especially Roderick. Roderick.
Anyway, the announcement here is, like we said, the main event for tonight, the tag team match. So up next, we have Velveteen Dream in his in-ring promo that we were promised last week. Well, we were promised he was going to be there. Yeah. So it could have been a match.
And it was on, it was on the graphic before we pressed play.
Yeah.
The only mention.
On the WWE Network, it was the only thing that they used to sell this show with in the description for this episode was that Velveteen Dream was going to be there. So, woo!
Yep.
Spotlight's on him, though, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out and spends a few minutes saying absolutely nothing. But the crowd loves it anyway. And it's fun to listen to him speak about himself.
People want to feel the dream.
Yeah.
But they can't handle the dream.
I mean, there's a lot of "that's what she said" moments in there, but at the same time,
when you understand
his character, it's not so bad. But yeah, basically, he was just waiting on being interrupted.
Yes.
And we were expecting Dominik Dijakovic, because this was the feud that has started building a few weeks ago, and that's not who we got. We got music. Well, not music. It's entrance music. So, starts off. To me, it sounded like Girls on Film. I was like, why the hell would they buy the rights to that song? And who is using it? And then I'm like, oh, that's right. You know, the runway shit. Prince Pretty. Yeah, Tyler Breeze is back again. Because he came back maybe it was a few months ago. It hasn't been that long. Or maybe that was NXT UK. It all blurs together. But he's come back before. And what is it, against Gargano? Might have been against Gargano.
It was. It was actually the week I wasn't here, and you and Noah Foster host.
There you go. So he's basically challenging Velveteen Dream for the title. He doesn't say as much. He barely even comments on the title.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a duel of egos here, where Velveteen Dream says the spotlight is his now, but Tyler Breeze is, as you said, an OG.
Yeah.
He's the OG NXT, and the crowd seems to agree with him.
Yeah.
They were chanting "Welcome Home." They were chanting "Breeze is gorgeous," and
first thing he said, Tyler Breeze is home, and like they naturally erupted. Because pretty much any like superstar that you have from the red, blue, or purple brands at this point that comes back down to NXT or hell, even NXT UK is going to be welcomed with open arms because they know they're actually going to get treated right there.
Oh yeah, I'm positive that Tyler Breeze appreciated being in front of a crowd that appreciates him.
I think he appreciated being in the ring and getting airtime. That wasn't necessarily a joke. It was setting up for something.
Well, we will just wait because we will get there. But yeah, this is not for naught. We are going to get a match out of this.
Yeah.
And there's an announcement coming, and we'll just wait. But this was okay. I mean,
the last shot with Tyler Breeze was just so great because the Dream, being the condescending prick he is, offers Tyler Breeze a chance to go ahead and take a selfie with the champ.
Yeah, so basically Breeze is calling Dream a knockoff because he's the OG, and Dream is basically using his version of his gimmick. And Dream counters by saying that Breeze is just a boy who likes to play cops and robbers. Like,
Fashion police nod.
So Dream says that he should take a selfie with him and the title because he's gonna go.
Yeah, it's like you go ahead, you can leave now.
And I don't know why. Why would he offer that? Because of course Breeze is gonna take him on the offer, and he goes to do the selfie, and of course they put it up on the screen, which I love how they do that. It's really cool. But of course somebody's gonna do something. I just kind of figured it would be Velveteen Dream.
Yeah,
because he's the one that set up the selfie.
Yeah.
But no, Breeze, what does he say to him?
It's just word of advice. If you put your name on your trunk and no one calls you up, it's because they're not interested.
Yeah, so he's making reference to Dream trying to get called up to the main roster, and then clocks him in the face.
With the cell phone.
Yeah, just a wicked punch to the face.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of cell phone case is on there. You know, this is no OtterBox shit. This is adamantium because it knocks some Dream through a loop.
Yeah.
Knock the shirt clean off of him.
So after this, we get Kathy Kelly interviewing Tyler Breeze on his way out, and she asked him why he came out there and didn't say anything about the title. He just said he wanted to introduce Dream to an inspired Prince Pretty.
Yeah.
Because he said that Velveteen Dream has inspired him, whereas on the main roster, he was not inspired.
So yeah.
A lot of inspiration going on.
Oh, yeah.
Up next, we've got Candice LeRae versus Reina Gonzalez, our second match of the night. And I wrote down the names, and I immediately underlined Candice LeRae, because there ain't no way Reina Gonzalez is beating her in a match that has no hype.
I was say Rainy Gonzalez is huge, though.
Yeah, she is 6 foot tall.
She is a big lady. They come big in Texas.
Yeah, I am 6 foot. Jerry wouldn't know anything about that because he is way taller than I am. I don't know if you can tell by watching the video, but this is a big gentleman. Just
not a lot going on in this match. A lot of power moves out of Rainy Gonzalez, and Candice LeRae pretty much doing her best to try and bring her down, but wasn't working for the longest time.
This was a really basic match for most of it. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't really all that entertaining. But then Reyna picks up Candice LeRae, and it's almost like she was going to do a deep six, but Candice LeRae ran into the move like she was doing something offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But gets caught like a deep six, and I'm like, the fuck kind of offensive move are you going to pull out of that? Because then Reyna stops her, swings her back around, and she goes to do what she had done previously, which was this spinning power slam.
Yeah.
Now before, it didn't really look much like a power slam. He even said it wasn't at all. But she spun her feet first instead of head first. Usually when they do a swing into a power slam, they come down head first. I don't know why. Maybe it's to keep the legs from getting tripped up and caught up.
Yeah.
Maybe a knee injury or a calf injury like we feared Noam Dar from a few weeks ago on NXT UK. But no, she lands one of them, but then she goes for another one. And Candice kind of spins out of it and goes for a roll-up, but she's so close to the ropes, she rolls her through the ropes to the outside, takes her out there. I actually have a few notes on this match. LeRae goes for a springboard crossbody. I think she's on the apron, and then she goes to spring off the bottom rope. But Reyna catches her, but then she kind of skittles over her back. She slides over her back and pushes her into the ring steps.
Kind of scamper.
And these ring steps are so big compared to the amount of space that they have in between the ring and the rails.
It kind of plays in heavily in the main event.
Yeah, well, there's a big spot that distracted me from a lot of that match. But anyway, after that, LeRae comes in, does a little more offense, and then she does her lion salt, which she is still way overshooting. Maybe it's the competitor's fault for not being close enough.
Gonzalez actually tried to get in a position for this time off the missile drop kick from Candice LeRae, and I actually saw it kind of happening. I saw her just kind of roll and almost readjust at the same time.
Now, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, Candice LeRae does a lion salt to the middle of the fucking ring.
Yeah,
she way overshoots this thing. I don't know if it's on purpose or not. I mean, that's a really great thing.
Yeah.
If you position your opponent correctly, but all of her opponents seem to position themselves the way a regular person, not a superwoman, would do a lion salt. Eventually, I'm sure she'll get there, or maybe she'll undershoot it.
Or maybe she'll just get rid of it and do something else.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her having the lion salt as a finisher, but that's her finisher. She gets the pinfall off of that. And I knew she was getting the pinfall, but it was kind of an underwhelming match. But it's all right.
The story was after the match.
Really, at this point, I'm just counting down to the main event.
Yeah.
Because we've got Undisputed Era versus Gargano and Riddle, who I'm getting bigger and bigger on every week.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, yeah. Riddle's just won me over at
But this segment's not over.
No.
Because after the victory, who comes out but Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir.
Okay.
And they surround the ring as much as 3 people can.
They look, the sad part is they look so intimidating until they actually start trying to do anything.
Well, Candice LeRae did her best to fight them off, but it's 3-on-1.
Yeah.
And even if somebody does come to help, it's still
3-on-2.
advantage Baszler.
Mm-hmm.
But when Io Shirai comes out to help, she brings back up in the form of a kendo stick. And she uses the fuck out of this kendo stick.
Oh, yes, she does.
Man, she whacks away at all 3 of them. Baszler to the point to where by the time Baszler gets pulled out of the ring, and she's hitting nothing but the ropes, that kendo stick starts shredding at the tip. So Io Shirai comes out using heel tactics, but in this case, I guess you excuse it because it would be 3-on-1 at that point.
Yeah, it turned into 3-on-3. I'm pretty sure. She might as well just have Kairi Sane out there just swinging her around.
Well, still 3-on-2 because by that point, Candice LeRae ain't helping her for shit.
No,
she's just laying there beat down. But considering that's the end of that match, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Underwhelming match, but great ending to the segment. I'm even okay with Io Shirai swinging that kendo stick, man. That was fun.
I was about to say, it's giving Io Shirai a little bit of momentum going into their match at TakeOver.
Where hopefully Shayna Baszler beats her.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Unless Baszler's getting called up, she better not lose that title again. She got to be the first and only 2-time champion. Let her keep it till she's gone,
She's not going anywhere without Shafir and Duke at this point. They're going to be a package deal.
Maybe. Anyway, after this, we get our announcement for NXT TakeOver 25 of Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze for the North American Championship. Who didn't see that coming?
Prince Pretty versus Prince Knockoff.
I'd like to see it turn into a triple threat match next week when somehow Dominik Dijakovic gets inserted, but I guess that's not going to happen. They didn't mention him really at all, other than the fact that we had those two guys in the first match lose matches to him.
The only thing I can actually see is if they're not going to be using Dijakovic for a while for some reason, or if they want to give Tyler Breeze more momentum, they'll put Breeze versus Dijakovic next week. But we announced it for 2 matches for next week anyway, so I doubt they're going to squeeze that in before TakeOver.
Yeah, plus next week is probably the same taping as what we just watched.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see those guys overused in front of the same crowd, hopefully, just for the crowd's sake. But that was that announcement for the North American Championship. That's the title match at TakeOver. Speaking of announcements, 2 matches for next week, as you said. We've got Mia Yim versus Bianca Belair in the rematch.
The way once.
Honestly, yeah, I was fine with the match they had. The way it ended was great. Innovative. I dug it. That's where Bianca Belair used her hair around the middle rope to secure the roll-up victory. Or the teeter-totter roll-up.
Because the only thing I can see in that match is Mia Yim beating Bianca Belair. And I don't want that. Or because there's really no implications for it at this point. They're both pretty much out of the title hunt, it looks like.
Well, we also got another match announced here. The match that I had forgotten that we should have remembered was coming. Kushida versus Drew Gulak.
Yeah.
Set up, of course, by Drew Gulak coming out and watching Kushida beat whoever the fuck he beat last week or the week before.
It was Kona Reeves.
There we go, Kona Reeves. That was last week.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'd like to see them do better with Kona Reeves. I like the guy. I know he's green, and a lot of people like point out all of his greens, but I see a guy that is really comfortable in his gimmick,
and
I like the gimmick.
Yeah.
I just don't like his finisher, but luckily he's lost all his matches, so we haven't had to see his finisher. Run with your finisher, Kona, so it gives them a reason to fall on their belly.
Yes.
Just saying. Anyway, so those are 2 matches next week. And finally, we are on to the main event.
Yes.
I was counting this down. This was so good of a match. I did one of those things that I do occasionally, and I just put the notebook down and watch the match.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, I
hold my hand so I'm not like, oh, that was a spot I want to write down. No, just remember it, dumbass.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, as much as I hate to say it, Matt Riddle is starting to throw on matches like those, where you stop taking notes and you watch the guy. You watch him wrestle, like his persona that he does and everything, going out to the ring, the whole bros fist bump thing. Yeah, inspired, whatever. But at the same time, like when he gets to the ring, that bell rings. He's dead serious.
His gimmick was inspired by every surfer movie from the 90s.
he comes in fucking Point Break and
so
goes all Matrixy.
Basically, the 2 spots for most of the beginning of this match, were the 2 hot tags. Riddle getting the first, But then he gets, I don't know, where did he get tripped up? Oh, the abs, because they were working on the abs. He goes to do that gut wrench triple, that gut wrench hat trick. Gets 2 gut wrench suplexes onto Fish, and then O'Reilly comes in and breaks it up, but he grabs O'Reilly, and he does one on him and goes for a second, and his abs give out.
Yeah.
And this is where they take over and they start beating on him. And, most of this match is the way matches go. The heels are beating on the faces, who make a comeback, get the hot tag. Johnny Gargano gets a great hot tag. He comes in, he starts doing, like, reverse tag team moves, where he's doing 2 moves on 2 different guys. 2 different moves. One in a headlock, kicks the other one in the face, drops the guy in a headlock kind of shit. He does, like, 2 or 3 of these. And Jerry's like, why do I like to watch him versus 2 people all of a sudden? I'm like, fuck, that's what he does, man.
I was about to say, he's a tag team specialist. He's experienced in the whole hot tag moments.
Oh, yeah. He's got to know what to do when Ciampa's on the floor holding his neck.
Yeah. Oh. But that's the whole thing with Gargano, is the fact that I see him as a singles competitor, but I'll forever see him more as part of a tag team. So, for him to be pulling off the hot tag and pulling off these really cool, like, combinations, clotheslines, DDTs, whatever, it all just makes sense to me, and it all clicks, and that's why he's Johnny Wrestling.
That's why he's Johnny Wrestling. My first note of this match was a holy fucking shit moment. Like a Jesus. Gargano picks up, I think, O'Reilly.
Yeah.
And lawn darts him towards Matt Riddle, who catches him with a high knee to the face. I really love when they do that off the top rope. Who is it? The European Union. Eichner and Bartel into the
vertical suplex.
Vertical suplex. Delayed vertical suplex at that. Just the power of Eichner. But this was a much better lawn dart.
I was about to say, this was short and it was vicious, because there wasn't really a lot of airtime going on. It was more just inertia.
And by this point, I've got my notes out, but the match doesn't last too much longer. Adam Cole comes out down the rampway, and immediately Johnny Gargano is on it. They got the upper hand. Yeah, suicide dive, and he just starts beating the shit out of Adam Cole on the rampway, to the point to where the ref comes out and he's like, well, he hasn't hit you yet. I guess I can't disqualify this, but stop, man. Get back in the ring. We got a match to do right now. Ref is distracted.
On the other side.
Over on the floor, over on the side, hard camera side, we have basically O'Reilly and Fish distracting Riddle long enough. I think Fish had his foot or some shit.
Yeah.
But Roderick Strong runs in, boom, high knee. Just levels him, picks him up, does this wicked backbreaker across, lengthwise, up his spine, across the corner of the apron.
Yeah.
Like he lands him at an angle where his spine hits along the corner of that apron. Fucking ow.
Yep.
Throws him in the ring where Fish and O'Reilly are waiting. They do the high and low. Ref sees that somebody's making a pinfall all of a sudden. Gets back in the ring, 1, 2, 3.
I was about to say, some people would consider this almost an upset, even though it's like a very established tag team going against
2 guys that have never been a tag team before.
But like you've actually, you and I had this discussion, since you have the pretty much the hottest commodity right now in the company in Matt Riddle, and you have the NXT champion Gargano as a team. You would think yes, this is
just the fact that you've got the NXT champion in the match, regardless of who it is or what side he's on. If you beat that team, I would call it an upset. You know, that's the top guy in the company. So on paper, it's an upset because he's the champ. But honestly, I mean, it's former tag champs, guys that have tagged together for so long. They have such good chemistry together, and they can beat teams twice their size.
Yeah.
That's how good they are. Like, it's not an upset.
No.
They've got the Undisputed Era to come out with the shenanigans, and there's no way this is an upset. Like, they totally see this coming. You saw it coming.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, my predictions suck.
After match, a 4-on-2 beatdown, and they hold Johnny up backwards for the last shot. Some smack talk from Adam Cole. We go off the show with the Undisputed Era on top.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they are primed to win gold here in a week and a half. But who knows, man. Honestly, we've got one more episode to watch before we make those predictions. But join us in about a week's time. We will have that, probably with Noah Foster. Maybe we'll get Cindy G on here. Who knows? They might do a Ladies of No DQ for NXT TakeOver, though, especially since it's 25.
Oh, probably. The 25th one? Absolutely, I would think so.
You know what? Those are good videos anyway, because all three of them actually watch NXT, I believe.
Oh, should we give the congratulations to Aaron Rolka for being the predictions champion for his last show? Yep.
Oh,
so
2-time champ.
Yep. So she won. So,
I was looking for you to pull it off. There for the first 2/3 of that pay-per-view.
Oh, the second
the coin was just working for you, man.
Yeah, the second we got to the Elias match and the what was it?
I told you that was dumb.
Yeah,
why are you using the coin? Just say Roman Reigns wins.
I
You bet against Roman Reigns when it's not Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, still.
So,
oh well.
Thing is, Elias got the chair shot and he still lost. So anyway.
And it's weird that you would actually mention Brock. So.
I'm not a fan of what happened, but
nobody is.
That's main roster. We're talking NXT.
We're talking about more important things.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of the main event. And here on NXT, we rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system. And as always, you go first, Jerry. Where do you rate this tag team match?
I'd say 3.5.
Plus the aftermatch.
Well, that's why I give the 3.5 is the aftermatch, because
seems so low. I was very entertained by this match.
Well, I thought it was a great match for being pieced together right there at the start of the show.
You even called the story of the ribs because Matt Riddle comes out and he takes off his shirt or his hoodie or what the fuck, and he's got the fucking trainer's tape.
He looks like a Vans box.
He does such a good job of selling that rib injury, that midsection injury, throughout the match, especially at the beginning when you're like,
Okay, so you actually have kind of convinced me. I'm probably going to bump it up to a 4. Just because it's actually setting it up to for the match between him and Roderick Strong. Because Roderick Strong, he's all about the backbreakers, he's all about the lung blowers, and it's all in that general area right there.
And who attacked him at the end of the match, too?
Like, this whole story is Matt Riddle and Roderick Strong. But also, I'm thinking, it's actually got us thinking before the show, before we went on the air, we were talking about the whole possibility of still an Undisputed Era breakup, or at least Cole being ousted and Roderick Strong taking the lead. What would put him in the best position? Cole losing to Gargano and somehow pulling off the victory against Matt Riddle. But Matt Riddle just got done losing to Velveteen Dream at the last TakeOver, so he's due for another win. And what better person to beat at TakeOver than a veteran of the caliber of Roderick Strong?
Yeah, as we talked about earlier, Roderick Strong makes his name during the match, not by the pinfall victory or pinfall loss or submission. Like nobody really cares about his win-loss record, because when you watch him wrestle and do a backbreaker 1,700 different ways, you're just like,
you're entertained.
Yeah, he entertains the fuck out of you, and you're like, fuck yeah, Roderick Strong. Upper mid-card as hell.
Yes.
Upper mid-card as hell.
He is what we like to refer to in the wrestling community as the gatekeeper. Because a win against him will put you in the main event picture. A loss to him will shuffle you way back down to the bottom of the card.
So if anything, maybe there's jealousy that Roderick Strong loses, and I think Adam Cole is primed to win here. Because I don't think he loses to Johnny Gargano twice in a row. Just saying.
But the only way I can see Cole actually pulling off the victory is shenanigans probably by Roderick Strong.
Maybe he interferes, and if I can't win, neither can you.
Not even that. If
they both lose.
If Cole does win, it'll probably be because of Strong.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And then from there, Cole will still say he did it, single-handedly, or that even though the Undisputed Era had his back, he could have done it without them. And that sets up for the split there. So either way, things don't look good for Undisputed Era. I don't think they do. But the real story is the match, and there's a lot of offense naturally. And then Matt Riddle completely no-sells a German suplex and an enziguri, or a kick to the head in general. You don't kick Matt Riddle in the head. General rule number 2.
Nope.
So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to a 4. I would say it's off a good show, but it really wasn't. There's a lot of great segments, a lot of build towards the NXT TakeOver.
Oh, the 2 in-ring segments were better than the 2 in-ring matches.
Yeah, so...
My opinion.
So 4. Yeah.
I am going to agree with you at 4 stars.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought I was going to outrate you, but I can't see giving it 4 1/4.
No.
Especially not off the back of a great show, because it wasn't a great show until the main event. Yeah. I really enjoyed the main event. 4 stars all the way.
The segments kind of outweighed the matches.
They really did. And that's okay. But I think the matches should have more weight on a show. And the matches just weren't great. I mean, Mansoor looked great there at the very end. And Candice LeRae...
Candice LeRae served her purpose. She won her match, which was great, but then she got the beat down on her by Shayna Baszler and, Shafir and Duke, and that's for Io Shirai to interrupt.
That was fun, but it was real brief.
Yeah.
So, solid 4 from both of us. So, I would say check out the match, because the match was really entertaining. Oh, yeah. And then the shenanigans finishing, even though, it's obvious, it was still great.
It doesn't matter if you really care for Matt Riddle's gimmick that he does and everything. Just watch the dude in the ring. It's almost poetry in motion at this point. He's so settled into the style that they do there, and it complements anybody he's in the ring with so well. And that's what I think it is. The fact that he's got that own style of his that kind of meshes in. It's got the MMA style in it, but then he's also got more of the amateur style and a lot more of the... he's just nailing these kicks at this point.
What's getting it for me is the other stuff, like selling.
Yeah, selling.
He sold that ab injury just so good. He is so good at selling kayfabe injuries, and it's hard to believe he comes from a real fight sport.
Yeah.
Into something where, you're pulling punches because you're not actually trying to hurt somebody. And he's like, okay, so I know what it feels like to have my fucking rib broken by a punch, so I'm just going to fake that. And it's like, man, that works so well.
Yeah.
Maybe he's never had a broken rib, but I'm sure he's had some bruised ones. Anyway, yeah, Matt Riddle is growing on me every time I see him. He is getting better and better.
It used to be, God, but now it's, alright, cool, let's see what he pulls off in this one.
I think the problem originally was just, to keep his in-ring mystique. He didn't get in the ring but a couple of times in a several-month period where most of the time we just heard him talk. And Matt Riddle, as a promo artist, can turn you off from the character.
Yeah.
In my honest opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But once he gets in the ring, it's like, you know what? Never mind. Be all the weird surfer bro guy you want to be. As long as you keep kicking ass in the ring in that fluid just stuff that it's like I've never seen that before. How do I not expect something? I don't expect a guy like Matt Riddle to pull off something that I've never seen before.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say, anytime he rolls that power bomb over into either the knee strike or the kick, is just always so sick looking.
The next spotlight we do needs to be on Matt Riddle.
Probably.
Support, no DQ.
That brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow for our episode of the NXT Party. We will be reviewing, NXT UK episode number 44.
Yes. Dunn versus Walter 2.
Yep, and we should be having Owen Finch on the big screen. So good welcome back for Owen. It's been a few weeks, almost 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a while. So that'll be fun. And if you'd like to join us on a future episode of the NXT Party, come have a spot of NXT with us. Help us review a future episode of NXT UK. You can find me on Twitter. Go to nodq.com/Stefan. That's Stefan. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman on Twitter
at NoDQ General, and also in my Facebook group Armbar, all capital ARMBAR exclamation point. Come join us for memes, discussions, general tomfoolery.
General tomfoolery. Should have a subsection for that. General tomfoolery. That's where you can't get in trouble for non-wrestling related topics.
Yep. I was about to say that's
See,
not...
Administrator. Doing some administration. We need a subgroup. I don't think they'll do that, but we might figure it out. So, yeah, join us on Armbar. Add us there, not on Facebook. Facebook is spoiler free.
Yep.
Add us on Twitter. And if you want me to follow you back on Twitter, just send me a message on Twitter and say, hey, I'm following you. Follow me back. And I will absolutely follow you back. There's just so many of them. And a lot of places, especially professional wrestling news websites, kind of Twitter accounts, will follow you for just so long. And they've got bots that do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't follow back, they unfollow you.
Yeah.
And I'd like to wean myself away from those. So, but if you want me to follow you, yeah, I will. And then find us on YouTube on our channel. That's Aftermatch Wrestling, all one word, AFTERMATCH, Aftermatch Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you can get these videos a little bit earlier, and you can also get them in HD. We do get throttled down a little bit on No DQ, not going to lie. But,
it's the exposure, people.
It's the same product. It's just you can see all the hairs on my beard on our channel.
All the
hairs on his beard. Mm-hmm. So if that's why you tune in for the awesome beardage, then you'll want to watch it on Aftermatch Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And if you like our video, click the like button. That is underneath me. If you like all of our videos, you should probably click the subscribe button. That's underneath Jerry over there. And if you are on Aftermatch Wrestling, do us a favor. Click the like button that's down there. It'll bring up a little bar, and you can share us to Facebook, you can share us to Twitter, share us to YouTube. It makes it a lot easier for people to click on it and go right to our page. Our goal is 100 subscribers. We are currently, I think, at 77, 78, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. And we're well on our way, but it's been slow going the last few months. And at 100 subscribers, we will start doing this show, What's NXT, live. That'll be live on Aftermatch. The goal is, at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, we might be able to get a few people that are up, want to watch the show, and ask us questions. And we can answer those questions at the end of the video.
Yeah.
Just, interaction. That's what we're looking for.
What do you guys put in your omelet? We'll answer that.
But also, if you want to join us on the big screen, we do the Rated R Rapport. That's where we just bullshit about topics that are going on or whatever comes to mind, movies, shit like that. We also do Aftermatch Presents. We've done one with Colin Andrew. I plan on getting through all 4 of the NXT team's 4 horsemen.
Yep. And
do a little bit of one-on-one questioning with them. Just usually what got you into wrestling kind of shit. So, if you want to join us, find me on Twitter, find Jerry on Twitter. Leave us down in the comments an email address. That worked for Chris Mace.
Yep.
We're just looking for new members of the NXT team for people to help join us and talk about wrestling. So, thanks for joining us and talk about wrestling. For the General Jerry Slaughter, I'm the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you NXT time.
Support No DQ.
Got it right the first time.
That's right.
Did I remind you by calling you both names?
I'm actually getting more used to Yara.
Yeah, we're really pushing that gentleman nickname. Because technically speaking, he's not a general of anything. He is generally a gentleman, though.
I'm general knowledge of wrestling, and that's about it.
I think when it comes to wrestling nicknames, it's okay to call somebody a general, but at the same time, it would be good to have a backup nickname. Yep. I have too. Why shouldn't the gentleman?